According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, smoking harms nearly every organ in the body, and the lungs are affected the most when smokers inhale over 4,300 chemicals, including 69 cancer-causing agents. Although many people tend to believe that vaping e-cigarettes is as worse as smoking a cigarette, many smokers can stop by vaping. This topic is relevant due to the number of cigarette smokers we have and how it affects the health in the human being. Due to my vaping experiences and additional research I have conducted, I will be able to provide credible information on this subject. I will first explain what vaping is. According to Persuasive, vaping can be defined as the act of inhaling vapor from e-liquid through a personal vaporizer. Depending on how a rig is set up, they can be as simple as this one or as complicated as these. I will share with you some of the misconceptions about vaping e-cigarettes before explaining to you why it is much more beneficial and healthier to do than smoking a regular cigarette. Now that I've given you a brief overview for what is to come, I will share with you some of the misconceptions that people think about when they hear the term vape. There are numerous fallacies about vaping that people believe to be true. According to the website Aspen Valley Vapes, there are 12 vaping myths, and I will talk about 2 of them. The first one, nicotine causes cancer. Nicotine is not a carcinogen, and it does not cause cancer. There have been multiple studies done by independent groups or government officials and have not found a link between cancer and nicotine. The second one, secondhand vape is as dangerous as secondhand smoking. A study was done by Lillard and compared the levels of carcinogens from secondhand vaping and secondhand smoking. This study concluded that secondhand vaping has the same levels of carcinogens as air does. The study also discovered that quantities of nicotine from secondhand vaping were very insignificant. So this study conducted showed that there's no harm done from a person experiencing secondhand vape. Now that I have told you some misconceptions about vaping and why they were incorrect, I will share with you some of the benefits and advantages of becoming a vapor instead of a cigarette smoker. There are many more advantages of having a vape pen than smoking a cigarette, and it starts with the e-juice. There are only 4 ingredients that are contained in e-liquid. The first one, propylene glycol, which is a food additive. The second, vegetable glycerin, a thick sweet oil derived from vegetables. Artificial food grade flavoring, which is contained in everyday products we use. And lastly, nicotine, which is an addictive liquid from the tobacco plant. E-liquids are available to be purchased in different ways in regards to nicotine and have different flavorings. Juices can be purchased with or without nicotine and have different strengths, starting with 0 and ending with 36 milligrams. And bottles are bought just like these. In order for people to stop their addiction without experiencing withdrawal symptoms, the levels of nicotine juices are done. This photo shows if you are switching from cigarettes to vape that you cannot start high. You cannot start low in nicotine. You would have to start high and gradually decrease in order to either quit or find the nicotine level you want. And this is what the pictures show. For people being able to change from smoking cigarettes to vaping might not only help them to quit, but it helps reduce risk factors in their health significantly. Also, since juices can be bought with the different flavorings, it makes it more enjoyable and helps the smoker not go back to cigarettes. Indiana passed a law in the beginning of July, and now the FDA regulates the production of e-juice, making sure that there's nothing more added to the juice that will harm the person's body and just to be a little bit more safer. In conclusion, despite all the misapprehensions that come with the term vape, it is a healthier alternative to the human body than smoking a cigarette. I've shared with you some of the common misconceptions about vaping and had an explanation to a couple of them as to why they were incorrect. and I told you some of the advantages of becoming a vapor. I've seen many cases where people have switched from cigarette to vaping, and it has changed their lives for the better, and they are much more happier. Just remember, if you think vaping should be banned, it can always save a life or two in the future. Thank you.